Hey y'all, this is Sam with the Roots of Change podcast, and I'm very excited to invite you to our first private podcast of the year. Normally with our private podcasts, we go deeper with our guests, strategists, organizers, communicators, people who are doing social change differently in this world, people who are combating what is happening on the front lines with the Trump regime, as well as the people who are creating the new world, because both of those things are happening right now. Instead, today, I want to share a conversation from the Road Trippin for Change series. So for those that don't know, I drove across the country last year over the summer, and I wanted to document Trump's America. I wanted to understand what it was like on the ground for the first year of Trump's second term. I also wanted to document the history of this country, because I knew that would be changing. And we've seen that already. We had an amazing podcast last year with Andres Chavez from the Chavez Foundation to talk about how the government shutdown was affecting the national monument for Cesar Chavez. And we have seen more attacks since then, as well as, of course, increased escalation and violence and other tactics from Trump and the MAGA regime. And so today I want to reflect on the long history of the United States through our ancestors. I recorded this conversation, this thought on July 14th of last year. I was in Arizona camping, and it was giving me the opportunity to really understand what I experienced during the 2024 election. I drove across the Southwest to organize and volunteer to stop Donald Trump from getting elected president. And I saw a lot on the campaign trail. I saw so much hurt and fear and anger from the people that I was talking to at the doors and from the organizers. And there's so much there that we still are needing to process. And the Trump regime is not allowing us to do that. That is an intentional strategy to make sure that we're constantly overwhelmed. But that's what this Road Trippin for Change series is going to be about. It's going to be about reckoning with our ancestral stuff, because we've all got it. And there's just so much here when we pull the threads of history, when we look at film and storytelling and other things throughout our history to understand why we are here today. So this reflection that I reflect on our ancestors, particularly the boomer generation and the things that they saw and grew up with and how they are reckoning with that now. I also talk about Paper Moon and Nomadland, two films that are some of my favorites now. I do apologize to Frances McDormand. I could not remember your name, and I feel so embarrassed because you're one of my favorite actors, so I do apologize. And while we get into some heaviness, there is some fun. If you're watching this, we have some squirrels, we have some bees, and we have some hawks to guide us through this conversation. If you are not already a Seedling member, become one today. You can find that at rootschangemedia.com. It's only $2 a month to access the private podcast. That's really just a small ask of reciprocity. We want to make sure that we feel secure in having these conversations, that our guests can really go deep in the strategy. And so that's why we just asked for that $2 a month to give back. If you're already a Seedling, Flowering, or Fruitful member, you'll get to listen to the whole conversation. Definitely check out your membership page to get access to the private podcast feed and learn how to add it to your favorite podcast app. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to past Sam and have her talk about the beautiful Arizona camping.
Hey y'all, this is Sam, and this is Captain's Log Day 5. And we have been camping on this site for 2 nights now, finally kind of a little bit more settled, which also meant kind of rearranging our car and getting it more settled for like the long-term drive and long-term living in the car. And it got me thinking about history and the United States, and particularly like Nomadland, the movie that came out and won a few Oscars a few years ago with Frances, my favorite. Oh my God. Frances McDermott. No. Shit. Whatever. With Frances. And just like how under the radar that lifestyle is and how rampant it is in the country right now, and how we're just not talking about it and the media is not talking about it. And then it got me thinking about another movie, which is Paper Moon with Tatum O'Neal and Ryan O'Neal. Tatum O'Neal I think she was like 9. She was really young. She was a young child, and she won an Oscar for this movie. And honestly, like, she blows this movie away. Like, her and Ryan are just phenomenal in it. Like, it's real life father-daughter relationship. But like the script is fun. Like, it is just like the personality. Like, they're both like fighting with each other. Like, so essentially the movie is set in the Dust Bowl era. And I believe it's in like Oklahoma. It's definitely in like that kind of Tornado Alley area where the Dust Bowl was really rampant. It's also where my grandfather grew up, my white grandfather. So I wanted to watch it before we went on the road, and it is available on Hoopla, free at your local library. And yeah, it really struck me because, I mean, it's a really fun and funny movie about the Dust Bowl and like essentially like just like, scamming people to get by, like just trying to, make do and make sure you have enough money at the end of the day so you have food and that you have a good lifestyle. And they're con artists essentially. She becomes a con artist because she's with this guy, and essentially she always wanted more freedom, and she gets that out on the road.